A cordial greeting. Today is Thursday, October 9th, 2025. This is meteorologist Ruben Garcia. At the time of recording this video, it's 8 a.m. local time in the northeastern Caribbean, where we continue to closely monitor the evolution of Tropical Storm Jerry, which is now approaching portions of the northern Leeward Islands. Since yesterday, we've seen that Tropical Storm Jerry has been struggling with wind shear, caused mainly by its fast forward motion, which is currently toward the west-northwest at about 20 miles per hour. This has prevented the storm from organizing. However, in the 5 a.m. advisory, it maintains maximum sustained winds of 65 miles per hour, particularly in the northern, northeastern, and eastern quadrants of the circulation. This is important because as it approaches or passes very close to the northeastern Caribbean, the strongest winds should remain over Atlantic waters. However, tropical storm conditions are possible in some of the northern Leeward Islands. If we look at the infrared satellite animation, we can see that the tropical storm is generating strong areas of convection, particularly toward the east and southeast of the circulation. This means that the center of circulation is displaced to the northwest of the main area of bad weather. As long as Tropical Storm Jerry's structure remains this way, it will be difficult for it to strengthen into a hurricane. It is now forecast to pass near the Leeward Islands as a strong tropical storm. Currently, 2 Hurricane Hunter aircraft are investigating the area, and so far, they've found that the circulation remains disorganized at the surface levels. They also haven't found very strong winds, so it's very likely that in the 8 a.m. advisory, the maximum sustained winds will remain at 65 miles per hour. Data from the other Hurricane Hunter aircraft also show that they've had trouble locating a well-defined circulation center, which confirms that Tropical Storm Jerry remains disorganized. In this image, you can see that its track over the past few days has been toward the west-northwest, gaining latitude as it approaches the Caribbean. And although it may appear that if it continues on this track it could reach some of the northern Leeward Islands, the reality is that at any moment it will start turning more toward the northwest or north, passing very close to or over the northern Leeward Islands, and staying east of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. This is because the high-pressure system north of Jerry has weakened, and a trough over the North Atlantic will allow it to take that northward turn. This is reflected in the model track guidance, where the consensus keeps Tropical Storm Jerry passing about 25 to 50 miles northeast of Antigua and Barbuda. We still have some models showing a slightly more westward track, and that's precisely why a tropical storm watch remains in effect for some of the northern Leeward Islands. Also, note that all models keep the center of circulation passing about 200 to 300 miles northeast of Puerto Rico. Due to its disorganized structure, there's still considerable uncertainty in the intensity forecast. Some models keep it as a tropical storm for the next 3 days, while others strengthen it into a Category 1 hurricane over the weekend as it moves away from the Caribbean. However, there are also some models that strengthen it into a major hurricane. Based on the Hurricane Hunter data, the most likely scenario is that it remains a strong tropical storm or a Category 1 hurricane as it makes its closest approach to the northeastern Caribbean tonight into early Friday morning. If we look at the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center, they predict the circulation center will pass about 50 to 75 miles east-northeast of the Leeward Islands, with its closest approach around 2 a.m. Friday. By Friday afternoon, it is forecast to strengthen into a hurricane and then continue northward over Atlantic waters. Now, if the National Hurricane Center's forecast holds, most of the sustained tropical storm force winds would remain northeast of the Caribbean, represented in this animation by the orange and reddish colors. However, some wind gusts between 40 and 45 miles per hour could affect some of the northern Leeward Islands tonight and Friday. Additionally, the highest rainfall total should remain over the Atlantic waters. Still, much of the Leeward Islands can expect rainfall accumulations between 2 and 4 inches over the next 72 hours. Overall, the American Model Ensemble keeps the track just northeast of the islands, though a few members bring the center closer to Antigua and Barbuda. Similarly, the European Model Ensemble keeps the track just east of the Leeward Islands, as does Google's AI Model Ensemble. However, there's still a low probability that the center passes directly over Antigua and Barbuda. For that reason, a tropical storm watch remains in effect for Guadeloupe, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Barthélemy, and Anguilla. Residents of these areas should be preparing for tropical storm conditions within the next 36 hours. And remember, as the center of circulation moves away from the Caribbean, the southerly flow will continue to bring heavy showers across the Lesser Antilles this weekend, so caution is advised due to the potential for localized flooding. Well, that's all for this update on Tropical Storm Jerry. Here at Hurricane Info, I'll continue to monitor its progress and notify you of any changes to the forecast. And for residents of Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and the Virgin Islands, you can remain calm, as the area of bad weather will stay to the northeast of the region. I hope everyone has an excellent day. See you later.